Alex Answer here, August 2nd, 2015. This summer's gone by really quickly. I want to talk about my off-the-grid experience, and it's been pretty awesome. I've been here about a week. There's internet here. I brought enough water containers. There are some pretty cool people nearby that every now and then bring water. There's basically a group of a few people that are separated by a few miles that are working together in a more productive way than that which I have seen in the past. So far I'm impressed. I think that this property has a lot of potential. I consider myself to be here as a student, even though I may stay here for a few weeks or I may stay over the course of the winter with the intention of helping build another Earthship or another Earthbag home and maybe residing in one myself. And I think that that's going to be a lot more awesome to show than just simply doing videos in the RV. Now, there are ways to winterize an RV, to put a wood stove in an RV safely by having someone that knows how to do it. And that may be possible. That may sound scary to some people, but I am looking to upgrade the RV with a safe stove. These earth bags, by the way, you can get like 300 of them for $1,000. And so basically all I'm witnessing is something that I've wanted to witness for a while. People actually working together and getting a basic structure done. And hopefully I'll learn some additional framing techniques and skills rather when it comes to creating a window or creating a door. Now the San Luis Valley, let me talk about that a little bit. It's a place that really brings out the silence. And it can be difficult for me to do videos on a regular basis or respond to all the emails that come in. Because even though I have access to the internet, I'm not on the internet all the time. There's something about this environment that brings out the spirit, and we're surrounded by multiple mountains. And of course, there's different Indian beliefs on these mountains, but someone said in a recent video they can feel the energy simply from watching the video itself. And so what happens is, after a period of time out here, you begin to become acquainted with this environment and the energies that are here. And it is a little bit different than society. When you're in traffic and people are honking and, you know, the rush and go of regular society and the speed at which a lot of people are operating at. On another note, though, it's good to be healthy when you're out here in mind, body, and spirit, and understand that emotions, anger is, it's not that anger is bad, it's that certain primal upset energies can arise in certain individuals when they're feeling stressed from, being in the sun and being really hot. And so doing things like meditation, being in a intentional space of trying to ground and stay peaceful, I recommend that. I recommend that if people decide to go off the grid, that you need to understand that there's some intense energies out here that may irritate some people and bring out certain things. Certain things may rise to the surface. And I would also say, especially during full moons, solar flares, and other celestial events, just like in the city. So the goal is for myself to function within a very small community that is built around mutual respect. I help you, you help me. I'll be your friend and assist you in some ways, but let us work together and never vampire on each other or use one another or speak ill of one another. I want to have more experience in my lifetime dealing with other conscious beings that know how to resolve conflicts and know how, intuitively also to see certain issues arising before they arise and then mediate those complications. There's a lot of legends, by the way, about the San Luis Valley in general, from UFOs to cattle mutilations to strange animals that go bump in the night. There's also a history of religious groups that have come out here at one point or another. There's something about getting close to spirit. It's that prayer frequency. It's that prayer energy. Not only that, there's many athletes that have not only called the San Luis Valley home, but also Colorado. Boxers, swimmers, triathlon runners, I would assume. There's less oxygen when you're at a higher elevation than at sea level. So it is typical for athletes to come to a higher elevation, work out, and basically be the best that they can, and they go back down to sea level and they compete. I also noticed changes in my own physiology, being in the San Luis Valley versus being in Portland. Portland and everything that it entails, without going into that in this video. I would consider it to be a caustic environment for a lot of different reasons. Things like electromagnetic frequencies, cell phone pollution, and toxic, angry thoughts from a lot of people that aren't actually in their heart. Instead, it's like that song from Smashing Pumpkins, Rat in a Cage. And after a good chunk of my lifetime, I'm done with it. And I'm done thinking about going back to places like that to share my knowledge or whatever. I basically feel very blessed at this point in my life. To have solar power, to have a fan over here that's keeping me from overheating, to have a shower here in the RV. I just showered today. Showered and shaved, and also did a little cutting of my own hair by myself without going to a salon. I'm feeling more independent. I'm enjoying the silence that goes on for hours. And there's a lot of things that I should talk about when I'm out here and not allow myself to get too comfortable, too relaxed. Like, oh, the mountains. And it can get like that. But I'm really going to use this as a sacred space and go deeper into my research. So long term, I really don't know. But this is like a step that I'm taking to boost my own personal education about certain things, framing, earth bag building, and perhaps other things that are going to be coming later on down the line, including maybe some additional knowledge about electronics. How do you take an electronic and make it go straight off the battery by cutting the cords? So you don't need an inverter to go from DC to AC to DC, which uses power and loses power when you're going through the inverter. I met a guy recently who lives up the road who has a wealth of knowledge about electronics, about Wi-Fi, about, getting past the inverter and just going direct, and probably a whole host of other things. Down the line, I'm probably going to get a CB radio. I have one in a car that I left in Colorado a couple years ago. I'm going to try and go get it. The area that we're in now, by the way, we haven't seen any rattlesnakes, and I've also made an association between rattlesnakes and people, because where there's people, there's food, there's mice. The rattlesnakes are hunting for the mice. So new residents in a certain area may not come across the rattlesnakes till down the line after enough mice come, after they smell the food. So in a communal situation, one might want to consider the members of the group putting the food in a central area, not in the actual living quarters, to prevent a full-on mice infestation and later on, the years down the line, problems with rattlesnakes. That was an issue with the yurt. The rattlesnakes lived under the yurt because the mice lived under the yurt because there was food for them to forage when they broke through the crack and ran around at night. And boy, oh boy, was it loud at night with the mice running around when I was in the yurt. So I did a little bit of research. What can repel mice? And there's certain things that come up, like spraying peppermint. It helps a little bit. Probably depends on how hungry the mice are and where you are. So that is definitely something that I'm contemplating. They got a telescope out here. I never had a telescope when I was off the grid. But, just being able to look at the stars and look at how alive they are, alive like the fish in the sea, alive like your carbonated drink. Okay, bad example. But the stars are alive at night. And whether you're looking for UFOs or just shooting stars or the Big Dipper or some new planet that's shining bright or Venus, everything is much easier to see from this particular vantage point. So I'm going to be going back to Trinidad in a couple of days and dealing with some paperwork relating to a traffic ticket. I'm really going back, folks, just for that. The system is summoning Alex Ansary back. Ooh, yeah, isn't that awesome? And so I'm going to use this as a, I like to stay in motion. I'm going to maybe take some time to maybe look for a trail in La Vida Pass, which is on 160 that runs from Fort Garland to Walsenburg, Colorado. Then from Walsenburg to Trinidad, it's a straight shot down the freeway on I-25. But you're going through the mountain pass, La Vida Pass, when going from Fort Garland to Walsenburg. And that's about a 1 hour trip. And boy, oh boy, when I'm at those higher elevation points, this RV is only trucking at about 25, 30 miles an hour For a minute there, I was thinking that my alternator was out. Alternator's fine. As nice as this RV is, by the way, only at 70,000 miles, it does have a little bit of an issue going through the mountain pass. One of the things that I'm also going to be looking at when I come back is how we can get more power here so we can run the internet at night. Perhaps some additional marine grade batteries, deep cycle, or perhaps there's something else that should be looked at. The thing is when I know that I'm dealing with honest people and good people, I'm willing to contribute something. But I'm always going to be cautious of disruptors and interference energy around communities because I've seen it so many times before. And I really want to be a part of something that's actually going somewhere. Even if I'm only there for a few weeks to learn something, or a few months, because the way I look at it, that knowledge that I accrue can be shared with you through technology, through YouTube, and in that sense, it's a good thing. Anyways, I'm Alex Ansary with a hoarse voice signing off for August 2nd, 2015.